And one group is aiming to close the digital divide in America, switching gears now, one laptop at a time. The Loyalty Foundation gave a helping hand to students in Yonkers, New York, just earlier this month, and has previously partnered with 17 organizations in 11 states to provide nearly 2,000 free laptops to K through 12 students in underserved communities. For a special interview, I sat down with David Neeman, founder and chairman of the Loyalty Foundation, to learn more about the Loyalty Foundation's mission and just how it works. Take a look.
At the Loyalty Foundation, we believe that basically technology is a great equalizer, and that all children, irrespective of race, gender, or socioeconomic status, need to have access to technology tools and educational programming. Unfortunately and sadly, that's a big problem in this country. So the Loyalty Foundation chose to approach it by providing free laptops, refurbished Chromebooks to kids in underserved communities by working with community-based organizations, shelters, food banks, organizations that provide free after-school and summer activities to make sure we're getting to the kids who need it the most.
David, I'm so curious, what's the reaction you get from teachers and kids when you deliver these laptops? How is that from your point of view?
Well, it's kind of the best part of the whole thing. It's the kind of thing that makes gives you goosebumps, makes your spine tingle, because many of these kids, they're just shocked. They're sort of surprised, especially, in places like Flint, Michigan, Birmingham, Alabama, places where they're like, who are you? Why are you here? What is the Loyalty Foundation, and why do you care about us? And then when we get there, we tell them how wonderful they are, how smart they are, how talented they are, and how that this tool is going to help them, and it makes them glow, and we are just happy that we're helping them along the path to a more successful and equitable future.
Any stories from these kids or teachers that just stick out to you that you remember?
Yeah, well, the digital divide is like a real problem. Yeah. It's not something that is small, and it affects them in many, many ways. We had some ancillary benefits that we didn't even realize. Was we had some kids that were in shelters during COVID who couldn't continue their teletherapy. So while we were trying to get them computers to make sure that they could continue their just basic education, they were able to continue, reaching out, communicating with people there to help them. So it's got psychological benefits. It's artists. Kids were writing rap music on their Chromebooks. Artists were creating comic books. It was like the world was open to them, and just each of these individual stories are so heartwarming and important.
I think COVID really made us realize the digital divide in our country. Can you talk to us a little bit more about that? How bad is it?
It's bad. It's bad. And in a country, like the United States, there's plenty of money. Really, I think that's a misconception in this world, is that there's a finite amount of it. There's plenty of it. It's just not circulating in the correct ways. So there are these communities all over the country where kids don't have computers, and school systems, they reach out to kids, but they reach out to their parents and they send them emails. But if you don't have a computer, you don't have an email account, the digital divide is much greater than having a computer alone. So each of those stories individually, each of these communities, especially the underserved ones, are where we have the biggest problems in this country.
So to that point, what can local governments, companies, individuals do to help close this divide that we're seeing?
Well, firstly, I think there needs to be a collaboration between the government, between nonprofits, between corporations. Now, the Loyalty Foundation, obviously you can donate to the Loyalty Foundation, loyaltyfoundation.org. We also have built into our system the ability to collect old computers from corporations. So if you're a corporation and you're an IT room anywhere in the country, we can come pick up your computers and resell them. And then when we resell them, we take them and purchase refurbished Chromebooks. So there has to be a sort of circular, we call it good computer karma. There is the ability of each one of us in our everyday lives to make a difference and make the lives of someone else a little better by just simply modifying your behavior, whether it's getting rid of your old technology equipment through the Loyalty Foundation that can resell it to get computers to kids, or various other ways. So I think there needs to be more collaboration. There needs to be, rather than lots of people attacking the issue individually, we should need to come together. We do that with partnerships with the government, with organizations, but we need to grow the movement, and we need to become more of a connected piece.
David, I'm running out of time, but I have to ask you, how does it feel knowing that you have changed a student's trajectory in their life?
It feels great, except I just know there's so many more students. That's the thing. We're so proud of what we've accomplished, and the amazing team at the Loyalty Foundation, of all the people who work so tirelessly hard, all of our community partners around the country. But there are so many more kids that need computers, and there are so many ways that we can do it. And as a country, as a society, as a life, we need to decide how we want to be in the future, and we can make a difference. We can.
And thanks to David Neeman, founder and chairman of the Loyalty Foundation. For more information, please visit loyaltyfoundation.org.